Hi, this is Michelle reporting for Austin Days, and I'm here with Darren Shahlavi.
Shahlavi.
Oh! Hi, it's Michelle reporting for Austin Days, and I'm here with Darren Shahlavi from Ip Man 2. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you. How are you, Michelle?
Good. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me here to talk with you.
So we just came out of a great showing of Ip Man 2, and you play the Twister,
Right.
who is a Western boxer that comes to China to fight Master Ip. How did it feel to be in the film with Donnie Yen?
Well, it's a dream come true. Literally, really is, because we're like 20 years ago when I was trying to break into the film business, I went to a seminar that Donnie Yen was teaching martial arts filmmaking, specifically Hong Kong style action, at a seminar, and I was a kid, and I went to that seminar. And I learned a lot from him. He's the first person I ever learned anything about film fighting from. So 20 years later, after I've been working for 20 years in the film business, I get a chance to play the main bad guy in this movie, Ip Man 2. If there was no Ip Man, there might not have been the Bruce Lee that we know nowadays. So, thanks to Bruce Lee, I have this the idea that I'm going to be an action filmmaker, an actor in action movies. And I'm going to do these films. And then Donnie, who was the first person I learned film fighting from, is playing Bruce's teacher, Ip Man. So it was kind of a full circle thing. It was pretty cool.
Not a lot of people get that opportunity in their life to meet some of their heroes that they've grown up with and grown to respect a lot, because there were a couple of other heroes of yours there on set too.
Sure. Well, look, I mean, because of Samo and Donnie and these guys, I realized what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be in film business. And for 20 years, Yun Wo Peng, who was here being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award yesterday, he's the first director that gave me my first lead role in a film 15 years ago. So working with these guys and for these guys is it's not just a dream come true, like a dream role as an actor. It's more than that. It's kind of... It's a realization of a dream, but also it makes me feel like, yes, I'm on the right path, I'm doing okay, and all that kind of stuff,
Doing the thing that you were meant to do.
So I guess, I hope so.
Well, one of the things that I found really interesting about the film and about the fight scenes when there was the competition between the Chinese boxing, what they were calling the Chinese boxing, and the Western boxing, was it seemed like you guys might have had to do some kind of a modified style of Western boxing, because it seemed like there was a lot of still very martial arts looking blocks. And I'm just kind of wondering, just as an actor, if that guy had never seen that before, it just was interesting to me because it looked kind of polished to me. Was that something that you guys really had to work on and really had to take into account?
You know what? I would disagree, and I would say that what I had to work on was, because I'd done a lot of fight movies, and in fight movies what we do is we expose ourselves and we telegraph. So if I'm going to punch you now, I'm going to keep my hands down so you can see my face, you can see my body, you can see my hands, you can see what I'm going to punch and I'm going to hit you. Now what Samo did on this movie, he would constantly say, keep your hands up. When I see you throwing a right punch, I want to see your left guarding your face. Normally I would drop this hand for a movie, but for this film he would have every time I punch, I'm protecting myself at the same time. So in actual fact, what we're doing on this film is more close to real boxing than I think that I've certainly ever done before. Because every time Samo would say, keep your hand up, keep your hand up. When you punch, you've got to guard, protect yourself. I want you to be a real boxer. So when I punch and I throw a right and he's throwing a left, I'm blocking his left. So I'll punch and block. And so it's actually quite close to the real boxing that I've ever done. And I was surprised because I thought that Samo would make it more cinematic, but it was actually closer to real boxing than I've ever done.
See, that's interesting because I guess it's been a lot of cinematic boxing that I've seen.
I think because of the first movie they loved the movie in Asia, in Europe, in North America and everything. The first movie was very successful, and they wanted to keep it authentic as possible. So I think that was the reason why with the martial arts, with the fight scenes, that they wanted to make sure that what we were doing was as authentic as possible. Because if I was doing the kind of fights that we normally do and we were doing this, people would say, well, he's not really a boxer. But what we did was everything was real boxing.
See, like I said, I don't watch real boxing, so most of what I experience is movie boxing.
Wing Chun was real Wing Chun. Right. Sammo Hung playing Hung Gar Master Hung was real Hung fists. So I think it was real Wing Chun, real Hung Gar, real boxing, and I think that's why there's a lot of debates now. Okay, could a boxer win or lose against a Wing Chun master? See the movie and you'll find out.
Well, one of the things that I heard in the Q&A, and I hate to make you like repeat yourself and not talk about something fresh and new, but I thought was just a wonderful story, and it was about your basic fighting style and how it's different from your natural stance,
Right.
in a way.
I'm a southpaw. But Samo adapted that, and so I'm a southpaw because I watched Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was a southpaw, which means that he's right-handed, but he has his right foot forward when he fights. Normally, boxers who are right-handed, they'll have an orthodox stance, because this one, the left is the jab, and the right overhand right is the powerful punch. But I'm actually copying Bruce Lee, so my right foot is forward, and then what I do is I lead with my right hand. My right is my fastest and my most powerful, but it's because of watching Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, when he fights, he's the southpaw, so he's this way. Sylvester Stallone, when he plays Rocky, is a southpaw. So my style is directly influenced from the people I watched in movies. So it's nothing to do with learning as a kid, boxing. I learned from movies, and everything I did, I learned from movies. So when I work for Sammo Hung, I know his style because I studied all his films. Donnie Yen, I know the timing, the rhythm, the beats, because I've watched all his films over and over and over again. So that was, I guess, fortuitous for them that I'm a big fan as well, right? I love martial arts movies, and that's where I feel like I'm appreciated, I'm used, and these guys give me good roles. In Hong Kong, they don't need, for example, when you audition as an actor in America, they say, okay, with this character, he's 6 foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, or whatever his description looks like. He's from this ethnic background. In Hong Kong, they don't care. They say, we need a Westerner. He could be black, Asian, whatever. Not obviously not Asian, but he could be wherever he's from, right? We need a Westerner, right? We need a bad guy, Westerner. It doesn't matter where you're from. You could be English, French, European, whatever you're. So they want a guy who's good physique, good martial arts abilities, can act okay, and they give you a good role. So that's why I was able to start my career there.
So what style of martial arts do you particularly practice?
Well, I started with judo and then karate and then kickboxing and taekwondo, Thai boxing, all that kind of stuff. Really what I do is film fighting as well. I mean, I learned how to defend myself and how to fight. But I learned what we would say is picture fighting, motion picture fighting. It's closer to dancing, really, than real martial arts.
Well, it was wonderful to watch you on screen. And what's next?
Well, right after doing this movie, Ip Man 2, I flew straight to Romania with no sleep and I work on a movie called Born to Raise Hell with Steven Seagal, who's another guy who Seagal, Van Damme, all those guys. I was a kid when they started out. I mean, Steven, I guess he was like 37 years old when he did his first movie. So, he's someone who I've really looked up to and really respected and really admired. And I heard a lot of stories about him, and I was a little bit apprehensive, but the director of the film, Lara Chartrand, is a good friend of mine. He's a very famous stunt coordinator. And he called me up and said, I want you to play the bad guy in this new movie I'm directing with Steven Seagal. It's my first movie as a director, and I said, I'm there. Absolutely, I would love to. So I did this film, Born to Raise Hell. It's going to be on DVD October 19th from Sony Pictures. Then I did my first sort of starring role in a film called Aladdin and the Curse of the Jinn for the Sci-Fi Channel, which is going to be released, I believe, in March on Sci-Fi. And next week I've got a guest starring role in Human Target for Fox.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing more of you, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.